Yes, we again come to interpret to you things you are seeing, but which you may not have connected appropriately to what is coming upon everybody. Boko Haram central theme, the campaign they came out for was to shut down Western education and therefore Western influence. They reject everything about Western education, which then will lead to Western jurisprudence, Western legal order, and ways of doing things. At a time we have as our Commander-in-Chief, President and Commander-in-Chief, a champion of the Islamic faith, a champion of Boko Haram. We remember he was nominated to come to lead their negotiations with Jonathan at the time they were doing their terror under Jonathan's presidency. The current president, Muhammad Buhari, was the nominee of Boko Haram for the discussions Jonathan called in Saudi Arabia. And suddenly, the universities in Nigeria have been shut down for 6 months with nothing in sight that could lead to resolution. The two ministers who ought to be working 24 hours to make sure that that situation does not last even 1 week, the Minister for Labor and the Minister for Education, were just going about insulting the university teachers, making negotiations, totally unworkable, unviable. And in the midst of all of that, they both went to buy forms to contest the election. 100 million naira form to become president. And in all the time they were, confusing themselves in the background, running helter-skelter, looking for how to get a ticket of their party to become presidential candidate. The strike assumed new dimensions. And students are shut down from being in school, they're at home. What do you think they've been doing? Now it's come to where secondary schools, the authorities have asked secondary schools in the Federal Capital Territory to shut down on account of Boko Haram, that is, terror that is coming to town. The other day, it was at law school, they wanted to strike. And the nearby garrison, brigade of guards had to go to intervene. And you saw the number of the soldiers that got killed. The transport system is being shut down. We saw the attack on the train. They are still holding the hostages, collecting 100 million each. We're interpreting to you what is happening, what you are seeing, but which you may need to interpret to be able to determine the danger you are in at the time they are distracting you with come, let's go to election. Schools are shut down. The university system shut down for 6 months with all the consequences of it. The best of our brains are relocating to whichever country they find accommodation. The students are in the house, getting into all kinds of things. Tomorrow you will now say you don't know where crime came from because they are idle at this time. Some are going to get into crime. Others are going to get into things that will derail their lives forever. Some of the girls, they certainly will get pregnant or get married off in some way that, just derails their destiny because they are stuck with a country that is not thinking about their future. 6 whole months. How much is it that will have resolved this problem? When one person was Accountant General of the Federation of Nigeria was brought to court and he's been granted bail now for stealing 109 billion. That is the charge against him. How much is it that the teachers, that the university teachers are talking about to resolve whatever be the issue? We're not talking about the pension fund, Maina and all the other his confederates that took, again, hundreds of billions of a pension fund. Why not? The monies, we see the sleaze and the corruption in what do they call it? What do they call the subsidy of petroleum products? Those ones running in trillions. We're talking about 4 trillion. Another trillion in another quarter. And so, the airlines, we saw Aero Contractor, after how many years? Shutting down, over 40 years of operation, shutting down on account of aviation fuel and associated costs, but more importantly, aviation fuel. We saw Dana joining them. We don't know how others are struggling. Why do they not have aviation fuel? Because the refineries are not working. Why are the refineries not working? Because refining is on the exclusive list of your constitution. So it is the constitution that has brought us to this. Everything that is gone wrong goes back to that constitution. If you can't travel by rail, like we have seen, because of terror, the schools are shut down because of terror. You can't travel by air, because that's what is soon going to become. You are confined to the road if you have to get anywhere at all. And the terrorists and bandits are waiting for you on the highway to abduct you, like we see happening all over the place. We're just interpreting to you. We saw yesterday also, we woke up to the news of shooting that happened in Minister's Hill in Metama in Abuja. Abuja has been encircled, and they are coming from Kuje attack to law school Buhari that became Brigade of Guard attack, and Metama, shooting in Minister's Hill. Schools being asked to close down and evacuate students, even private schools, federal government college in Federal Capital Territory. These people are closing in and closing in. And we had your president saying he's tired, he wants to go home. But we had Governor Autumn talking about the plan to hand over Nigeria to the terrorists. And then the terrorists turn around to say, oh, we're going to kidnap your president and kidnap El-Rufai. Let us remember that it was El-Rufai that interfaced with them, that commissioned them in the terror they had to provide in the time they chased away Jonathan as president. They've done their own part. They say the land must now be handed over to them, like we confirmed from the train terror attack demands. The 100 million they are collecting now per kidnapped person is just a matter of probably they are not able to proceed because of the challenge that is coming on that plan to hand over. We cannot rule out the possibility that they are working their way to the Afghanistan model, as we saw the Taliban and the president that left. If the president says he's tired, he wants to go, and the terrorists are saying they want to kidnap him, who says they won't wake up one of these mornings, since they're already operating freely all around Abuja, abducting people and putting people in fear round the clock? The National Assembly has chosen this time to close shop for 7 weeks. Apparently, they become apprehensive. They want to go to, places of safety. Many of them will go overseas now and wait to see what will happen. That's what they are doing. Nobody knows what they will do next. And they say, oh, it's only when they come back that they will now come to consider whether they will have to impeach a president that is not only failing, but complicit. Anybody who is still talking about what is happening from the perspective of a president that is incompetent, or a president that is not clueless. No, your president is complicit in the terror you see. If we do not take our bearings for searching for solution from that reality, that our president and commander-in-chief is complicit in the terror itself, then every other thing we say we are doing, every other speculation, every other suggestion for what should happen will be totally off tangent, will not lead anywhere. It only offers them more time, himself and his associates from everywhere, ISIS, ISWAP, Boko Haram, Fulani Herdsmen. They are all components of one enterprise. Fulani agenda to take over the land of Nigeria and hand over to Fulani from all over the Sahel. That's what's going on. And so they are shutting down the seat of power. It takes only one announcement, or except we do the needful. The only viable route of escape for the rest of Nigeria at this time is to very swiftly embrace the NINA's force majeure and enforce it. We are at the stage of enforcement. What is that enforcement? We are not going to election under this constitution. It becomes a logjam of a situation. That constitution goes down. Our sovereignty is back in our hand. We take up anything we need to do to organize ourselves as the owners of the land that is being taken over by these foreign invaders, led by our own president. That is the action we can take now. That is the only viable route of escape left for the rest of Nigeria. Shut down this constitution, take back your sovereignty, take charge of your spaces. We hear they struck out a war again. We hear they're in Osun today, killing people, invading, countrywide. We hear of Enugu. We have a choice to continue to dance towards the election in 2023 while they have 7 months, all of the 7 months between now, July 2022, and the election of February 2023. All of that 7 months, they are continuing in their onslaught, shutting down schools, roads, refineries, in order to shut down airports and aviation. If we refuse to listen and we keep our ignorance instead of working with knowledge, I tell you, we're on the highway to Afghanistan. Let us use the wisdom God has given us. Let us use the education we have. Let us use the knowledge that is freely available for what we can do to salvage ourselves. It's a choice that we have to make. Thank you.